YouTube, and we're ready to get started. Okay, sending data, it says, to YouTube. Give it a second. Online. Okay, so we should theoretically be online on YouTube. Let's double heckin' check. Yes, cool. Awesome. And we got a bunch of people watching already. Woohoo! Coolio. Alright, cool. Hello, everybody. My name is Max. This is a unique entrepreneur stream in the sense that we are doing it for the Project Management Institute for Citizen Developers, and I'm very exciting. It's very exciting. I'm very excited. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna wait a couple minutes before we jump directly into it because I want to make sure that people have time to join, because I told them I would start at noon, but it's, we got 3 minutes to go, and then we're gonna start building stuff. It's gonna be really cool. The goal here is to straight up do a live build like I usually do on my own individual show, but we're going to do it specifically for the Project Management Institute and the followers of that organization to see if we can be useful to them. So there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can do with no code. Actually, Adalo is one of my sponsors. We're going to be using them today as one of the no code tools that of choice to build some cool stuff. But yeah. Hopefully what we build will be useful to you as a project manager, and it'll be a lot of fun. Yeehaw. I'm not sure if I was supposed to hop on a call with Jill or anybody specifically from the Project Management Institute, or if they were going to Zoom with me. I think it's just me doing my thing, so we'll wait a little bit. And then we'll get started. I am very pooped today, so hopefully I will have enough energy to keep it entertaining. But yeah, I think we're actually probably going to do multiple live builds today. I'm going to build multiple things. Should be interesting. Should be very, very interesting. I'm going to use the 2 most demanded tools, and we're probably going to be building, we're definitely going to be building a project management app. So like a tool to manage your projects, right? Or a tool to manage your team or anything in that kind of space. Should be really cool. Should be really, really fun. I've actually never built my own project management tool before, so this should be extra fun. Well, I mean, I've built my own project management tools, right? So, but I've never built one for a team, so it'll be a little bit different, but it should be more or less the same thing. But it's super easy with a couple of tools. So we're going to build a very simple one and then a very advanced one. Or like show the beginnings of a very advanced one. Should be neat. Should be extra neat. Extra neat. Sweet. I see we got more people joining. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the show. If you have any questions up front, or you're very excited, or you're new to the chat or whatever else, drop a comment. I can see all your comments, and I'll probably be putting them on the screen at some point once we do questions. But yeah, please ask questions. Please send me ideas as we're going through. Would love to hear all about it. Sweetness. Okay, cool. It's noon. So let's get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Max. This is Entrepreneur. We're doing a very special episode today because we're doing it for the Project Management Institute Citizen Developers. I'm very excited about it. Basically what that entails is I'm going to be going through a specific live build. Usually on my show, we come up with a dumb startup idea and we build it, and then we get it out into the world and see if we can find users, right? In this case, we're building something a bit more practical, and we're tailoring it specifically to the wonderful people that work with and follow the Project Management Institute, PMI. So I'm going to be teaching you how to build your own project management tool, right? And or to-do list-ish kind of thing. That tended to be what was the most common submission. We got I think 20 submissions for really, really cool ideas. There's 36 submissions. 35, 36, really, really cool. People sending me all sorts of cool ideas. There was some really, really fun ideas actually. But I think the most common one that was submitted was a project management tool, right? How to build your own project management tool to track, to-do list items and track the progress on a certain thing. something in that kind of vein, right? If you have a project that needs to be done, that requires multiple people or multiple items to be completed, how do you track and make sure that everybody's on, on track to get this thing done by the given time? So that's the expected thing that we're going to build. We're going to build that probably two different ways. I'm going to build a very simple version using an awesome tool called Airtable, which was built for this kind of thing. It was built for this kind of thing, but it's just a very basic kind of database tool that ends up being really useful for structuring flows of information, flows of progress, flows of data, and tracking stuff. So we're going to be doing it first on Airtable in a very quick, simple, easy to absorb way. And then we're going to be using Adalo, and ignore GDDO.com. That's another sponsor of mine. I think Adalo is the most applicable for this one since this isn't a normal entrepreneur stream. But then we'll be using Adalo, which is a very free-form, wonderful app builder that lets you build basically whatever you want. And I'll show you the kind of basic structure that we would use in Adalo to build our own project management tool, for instance, right? So that's what we're doing today. Should be a ton of fun. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to share my screen, and we're just gonna heckin' jump right into it. We already got 13 people watching. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to the show. If you have any questions whatsoever at all, I can see everybody's chats, so please drop some ideas. Forgive me, I'm a little bit stuffy today. These are all the ideas that we got submitted, which is awesome. I love it. Yeah, there were like 3 or 4 different people that did things like a project task app, right? Project task apps are awesome. Cedric, what's up? Thank you for being the first comment. Cool. All right, cool. So let me give you a little preface to no code just so we understand what we're doing and how we're doing things. So I don't just jump right into it blindly. No code, and this is a little Airtable place, and I'll tell you more about Airtable in a second. No code is what I use to build things, right? And that's where the kind of vein of the tool sets that we're going to be using to build awesome stuff. Basically, if you think of things like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, right? Those are all very common tools to build websites. And previously, you needed to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these fancy coding languages to build something in the form of a website, right? Now, we have, elbow cough. Now we have things like WordPress, Wix, Squarespace to build things that we needed code to do, right? We don't need code at all. Like, we can just whip something up, drag and drop a few different little elements, like answer a few questions, and boom, we have a website, right? The same is now true in the past few years for things like apps and for things like workspaces and for things in that kind of vein. It's really, really powerful. So I can't code my way out of a paper bag. I'm absolutely garbage at it. But I can build applications. I can build, project management tools. I can build workspaces. I can build basically whatever I want with these no-code tools. It's very fun. And we're going to be using a couple of those no-code tools today to build our awesome project management to-do list kind of application, right? Neat. Neato burrito. Yeetus. All the cool things. I normally curse a lot on my personal live streams, so I'm going to have to tone it down and not do that. Because we're trying to be professional on this stream. But cool, awesome. So this is Airtable. We're going to start by building something in Airtable. Airtable is very simple. All Airtable is, I'll show you an example of an Airtable sheet, is it's a simple database. I call it Google Sheets on steroids, right? Google Sheets is just a very, simple little Excel-ish kind of workspace. And it works simply. And Google Sheets does the same thing. It's got your formulas just for managing data in general, right? Which is fine. Great. Awesome. But Airtable is like the next step up. Airtable is like Google Sheets on steroids. It lets you manage information in records, which allows you to link multiple records together. So if you have 2 databases, maybe of like parents and children, you can have like one child assigned to a parent or multiple children assigned to a parent in a separate database, it gets really, really crazy. That doesn't sound like it could be, some insane project management awesome tool, right? But it can. You'd be surprised. They actually even have formats down here. So instead of just a little grid format like you see here, like you would, notice in something like a Google Sheets, they have a calendar format, which is really nice for specific events. A gallery format for images. We're not going to need that. A Kanban format. We will be using that. And then a Gantt chart would typically be really useful. I don't have Airtable Pro, though, so we're not going to be using that. But just know that we could also reference that for sure. Track dependencies and things like that, which would be really, really great. The calendar view and the Kanban view, the form view and the grid view will be more than enough. So it should be a lot of fun. Should be a whole bunch of fun. But this is a good example, right? This is a giant list of no-code tools that I have built on Airtable. It's just a big fat list, right, of information. But using Airtable, we should be able to make a really, really cool project management tool. That's actually part of what it was built for. Part of what Airtable was built for was tracking and managing tasks and items and different pieces of information, not just, holding all this information in one place. So let's get started. Let's get heckin' started. I'm going to make a new, actually, hold on. First, I'm going to share this. Howdy, PMI Lakeshore, Ontario chapter. What's up? How's it going? Hopefully you'll see this. I think that's shared to YouTube. Yes. I'm going to share links in the chat in YouTube via Restream. So Restream should pop up with little links and stuff like that. It says it was shared to YouTube. Hopefully you're getting these. But I'm going to send all the links of useful things that I'm making in the chat. So Airtable is the first one. That's the tool that we're going to be building our first version on. And it's going to be super smooth. So I'm going to add a base. I'm going to... can we start with the template? I wonder if there is product catalog, bug tracker, event planner, project launch, product planning. So yeah, they're project tracker. So they have their own templates for this, but I don't want to build on a template. I want to build something from scratch just to show you all of the functionality of this awesome tool. Nakazi says, how do you decide which platform to use when building an app? Is there a way to quickly identify the available functionality of each no-code, low-code platform? Is Airtable a paid tool? So Nakazi, great question. I actually am trying to solve that problem right now. I have a little tool called beta, beta.co, that lets me search different templates across all these different tools to see if I can find the right template to start my project, right? It's a tough problem. It really just takes experience with no-code and low-code tools. And honestly, a lot of the no-code, low-code tools do very similar things. A lot of the app builders have similar functionality. A lot of the database tools have similar functionality. So picking one isn't going to screw you over. It's just picking the right kind of tool, right? And usually, that's not too hard to find. That said, the way that I decide is that this giant, massive Airtable sheet that I have of all these different tools, I search for the best. I search for, different functionality in each one, and you're ready to go. So that's my personal solution, but I'm trying to build an actual solution that works off of templates for everybody else and myself as well, right? Because I can't just search through 440 tools all at once. There isn't a way to quickly identify one right now, but I'm trying to make that happen with beta. So it's good to know that you have that question. That means my product idea isn't that bad. But yeah, Google and maybe watching some videos, watching what other people use is probably the best way. I wish there was a better way. It's a good question though, Nakazi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. It's a very cool name. PMI says, is Airtable a paid tool? Great question. Airtable, I use Airtable for free. And I use a lot of Airtable. Airtable is only paid if you go over I think 2,000 or 3,000 items. Other than that, totally free. Totally free. And it's very, very cheap even when you do pay for it. It's not meant to be super expensive. With this big high-end kind of professional tool. Even though it is really, really awesome in terms of functionality. So Untitled Base, I'm going to title this. Yeah, thank you for the question, Nakazi. Cool, so I'm going to title this PMI, or let's just call it Project Management Tool. Project Management Tool. Awesome. Project management tool, ahoy. So, we want to create what? We want to create a list of larger projects we want completed, right? So we're going to create a list of projects first, overarching projects. So the table up here, I'm going to label projects. And I'm going to be bumbling through this a little bit. That's kind of how these live builds go. But we're going to get somewhere, and it's going to be a really, really cool project in the end. I'm sure of it. So cool. Projects in the beginning. Let's make a few dummy projects. We'll call the first one just project number 1. Project, oops, I can type. Project number 2 and project number 3. Cool, we have 3 projects. And then we can add attachments, we can add things like PDFs, images, anything else like that, and it works really, really nicely in there. Excellent, right? Very, very cool. So now we have a list of projects that we need completed. Cool. Now, let's see. Let's make a large list of tasks. Yeah, let's make a large list of tasks that have to do with each project. So there's 5 tasks that need to be completed related to each project, right? Awesome. So let's create an empty table. And this table will be tasks. Great. So there's projects and we have tasks, right? These are just little, just little databases of the necessary projects and of the tasks that need to be completed. Now, this is where it gets a little cool. Check this out. Let's say I'm going to create a relational field. So I'm going to link to another record. And this field name is going to be associated project, right? Link to another field. And we're going to link to projects. Allow to linking to multiple records. Yes. Create field. Add lookup fields name. Boom. And I'm actually going to delete this one. So we just have associated projects, right? So now we can actually add an associated project. And if we go back to our project lists, we can add an associated task directly from each different database, right? So if I add, let's say, from the project one, right? I know project one has tasks that need to be done. So I'm going to add a new record. It's going to be task, maybe like fix boat. I'm gonna come up with some dumb tasks, right? Fix boat. Awesome. Add another one. Create template. Create template. And then FUTs with wiring. I don't know. Something silly, right? But now, if we look here, those 3 tasks are added to project 1, right? Now there's 3 tasks associated with project 1. Awesome. And if we go over to tasks, there are 3 tasks and all of them are associated with project 1. Excellent. So now we have a list of tasks and a list of projects. Wonderful. I'm going to quickly delete these because these are not important. Let's add a few more just so we know something. FUTs with wiring, maybe like paint walls. I don't know. These aren't like technical project associated things. I'm going to associate this one with project 2. Cool. These aren't very technical tasks, but you get the point. So, cool. We've got 4 tasks in total, and each are associated with a different project, right? Project 3 currently doesn't have any tasks. Now, what's necessary for a specific task, right? What's necessary? I would say we need to know who, right? Collaborator. Maybe collaborator. Is there anything else? Created by. Ooh. Created by is good. Automatically shows the collaborator who created the record. It cannot be edited. No, let's just do collaborator. So let's say assigned employee, right? Allow adding of multiple collaborators. Absolutely. Notify collaborators when they're added. Absolutely. Create a field. Awesome. Now, Oh, great question, Cedric. How much time does it take to learn how to use these tools? So it depends on the tool. With Airtable, it took me probably like a week of futzing with it to get like really, really good at Airtable, right? And I wouldn't say I'm amazing at Airtable, but I would say I'm confident that I can build whatever I want to in Airtable, right? For you guys, it would probably take you a day or two to get, confident with the tool. Maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos on how people use it, some stuff like that. But maybe a couple of days, not really that long. I think Airtable is a very simple tool. If you've used databases before, it starts to make sense really quickly. Very quick, very easy, no problem. Now, for the tool that we're going to be going on to later, which is Adalo, we'll build some stuff in that later. That takes probably like a week to learn, and some like solid tutorials, like really experimenting with it, really getting deep into it. Maybe building something on your own. It depends on the tool, but most tools are very, very quick to learn. Some of the more advanced ones, like Adalo, are going to be a bit, oh, excuse me, hiccups, a bit heavier. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. Cool. So, now we have a signed employee, right? I'm going to share this with, I'm going to share this base with, my other email, I think. Maybe I'll share it with my other email, just to give an example. Invite by link or invite by email. Let's do Max Mirho at, or wait, well, what was some of the other people? Ooh, yeah, this is perfect. Max at monstergeneration.com. I'm going to make them an editor. I'm going to send them an invite. Great. Great. Base collaborators, workspace collaborators. So now there's 2 people, I think, and this should show both. Yes, awesome. Okay, perfect. This works great. So I just invited somebody else, right? I invited another one of my emails, but you would invite another team member, right? Now, the 2 people that have access to this base are maxmirho at gmail.com, which is me, this one, and then max at mossgeneration.com. It's another one of my companies. So, now we can assign different tasks to different people. Excelente, right? So I'm going to assign project 1 to me. I'm going to assign project 1 to Max at Moss Generation. I'm going to assign project this one to me, and then assign this one to Max at Moss Generation, right? Now there's different people doing different things. Awesome. So that's great. That's wonderful. We love that. Makes us happy. What else do we need in a task? Maybe like a due date. A due date would be nice. So let's go date, and let's call it due date. Include a time field? Nah, we just need a date. And a local format, yeah, we'll do friendly format. That sounds good. Create field, due date. Awesome. So let's add the due date of something like, if you double click on a due date, by the way, it opens up a little calendar, which is wonderful. So we'll make this the 18th, make this the 19th, make this the 20th, and make this the 21st. And I accidentally added another one right here. I'm going to delete this. Great. Awesome. And now I'm going to say, I'm going to delete this. Any attachments? Maybe attachments might be necessary. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to create a checkbox field. And I'm going to say done, question mark. And that's going to be one of the primary fields over here. The status, we could do a status like completed or in the process of or not started or something like that. We could totally do that, actually. Actually, no. Let's do that. Let's do that because that makes a bit more sense. So status. Let's not just make it a checkbox on and off, right? Let's make it a status. So maybe something like let's, yeah, to do, in progress, done. I like that. That's a nice little kind of setup. Or maybe we'll also have another type. So instead there's to do, in progress, and done, we'll also have another version, which is unassigned. Unassigned, right? So maybe this one won't have a person that it's assigned to, but this one is to do, this one is in progress, and this one is done, right? Awesome. Now we know what needs to be done, where people are in the kind of process, what the associated project is, the attachments that are attached to it. I'm not going to add anything there. Well, no, I can show you how to add something. We'll add an attachment. We'll add like a little video, a little picture of me. Kind of cute. It's a big picture. High def picture. And that'll load eventually in a nice little kind of thumbnail format. But great. Awesome. Now we have our tasks. We have necessary attachments. We have the status of the to-do item. We have the associated project. We have the assigned employee or, unassigned. And we have the due date. Great. That feels good for tasks, right? That feels pretty good for tasks. So, now, how can we turn this into something that's a bit better? That like a bit more comprehensive, right? Well, let's see if we go back over to projects. Everything looks good here. All the tasks are here. Yes, excellent. The status could be to do, in progress, or done. The status here, yeah, the status will be the same thing here. Attachments here, notes here. We don't really need attachments here. Those are in the to-do items. So let's delete that. And the rest of this looks pretty good. This honestly looks great. Okay, cool. So now how does each individual, employee use this, right? They might create their own view that works really nicely for them. So I'm going to create a different view in this, right? This is tasks. Tasks is great. Tasks is all set up. But I want to create a different view. So let's go to let's create a Kanban view. Let's create a Kanban view. And let's name this Max, right? Max 1. Choose a grouping field. We're going to choose grouped by status. So if you've ever used something like Trello before, right? Trello works in a Kanban format. And Kanban is basically just cards. You have cards that you move in between little blocks, right? And it makes it really, really easy to manage things that are, in the process of being done or haven't been done yet or are done, right? So in this case, it works really nicely because this is just a straight up to-do list. So I'm making a Kanban format, a Kanban view of the task list, and I'm making it Max 1, right? Specifically for Max. So it's going to be grouped by status, which makes sense, right? And now we have our little lists here. We have paint walls, futz with wiring, create template. I can add different little items. If you remember back here, the status is now associated with a location in different cards, right? I'm actually going to collapse stack. Yeah, there we go. So it works in stacks. Look at this, though. Everything's already organized, right? Everything's already in the perfect kind of formats. And it shows this, of course, because the image, so it shows a thumbnail image that looks a little bit weird, a little bit more jumps out at you than the rest of it. But cool. And if I move create template over to in progress, guess what? Back over on the grid view, now it's in progress. Now it's not just, to do, now it's in progress. So I'm going to move futz with wiring to do, and now it moves it over to do, right? It changes it as you move the different little blocks, which is just wonderful. It's the best, right? But I, as the individual, only want to give a heck about the tasks that were assigned to me, right? Very important. So I'm going to create a filter for this view. I'm going to add a filter. I'm going to say where assigned employee equals is exactly Max Mirho, right? Excellent. And now the unassigned shouldn't be here. Let's collapse the stack there and move it over to here. Sure you want to move the stack? Yes, move. Oh, collapse stack and collapse stack. Great. And now the only things that show up are my items, right? My specific items. So let's go back to the grid view. And boom. The only one that was assigned to me was this one to-do item, which was futz with wiring, right? Martin, really enjoying this, very interesting. Hey, thank you, Martin. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I like compliments. Makes me very happy. So boom, whenever I, Max, the individual with maxmirho@gmail.com, want to go and see my dang tasks that need to be completed, right? I go into Max 1. I know that that's my space, right? I know that's my little hub for tasks. And so it'll only show tasks associated with me. And me as the manager, the project manager, would go into the grid view. And let's actually rename the grid view to be maybe administrator, right? Because then the administrator can see everything overarching from the top, right? They know everybody's doing everything. They know the status of everything. They see this is unassigned, and so they want to assign an employee. So let's assign Max, right? Let's assign Max to get that done. And now we go back over, I as the individual, the employee, Max, goes back over to here, and I should see something here. What's with wiring? They assigned it to Max Mirho. It's unassigned. Now that it's been unassigned, let's put it under to do. Or no, let's put it under in progress, right? Great. Awesome. So I go back over to here, and here it is, right? It was currently an unassigned, and I should have moved that. Wonderful, right? Great. So now, I see the right things, and then maybe we can create another Kanban version for Max 2, right? Max 2, the other Max. Status, same thing. We'll make filter, add filter, where assigned employee is exactly Max and Moss generation, right? And now it works again, and we'll collapse the stack here, and we'll collapse the stack here. Beautiful, right? And now Max 2 has his own little workspace place to do things, right? They can move things over, they can change things, done, everything's over and done. Max is very efficient. This Max is still to doing, right? And so you can see that the first Max needs to get his stuff in line, and the second Max has everything done, so maybe we can assign more tasks to him. Now, let's make a due date system. Actually, no, let's go back over into here first. Hold on, I want to change some stuff here. So now we see everything, right? This looks good. But I want to make sure that the to-do dates are big, up, and important and visible, right? So let's customize the cards. Let's customize the cards. Yeah. Customize cards. The attachments is up there, so that's fine. We want the title to be there. That's good. But we want the due date to be visible. That's important. The due date is super important. So I click due date. And boom. Actually, hold on. It's still giving me the little bit. Customize cards. No cover field. I just want it to be normal. Boom. So now we customize the cards, right? Now we have the task assigned. We click in. We can see, maybe some more information about the task, all the attachments, all the everything else, the due date, the status. But now the due date is there as well, right? So I wonder, can we color? In other project management tools, I'm able to color the field, like color the actual box based on the due date, like the closeness of the due date, which would be really cool. I wonder if we can do that here. Color, record coloring is available. Ooh, filter like rules. Yeah. So we could do it if I upgraded. I wonder how expensive Airtable is. Because I haven't looked too much into this. Not too much. Not too much at all. $12 per month. That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty dang nice. I like it. I like it a whole lot. And then you also get the, I think, what is it? 16th division. How's my history? Automatic table syncing. There's a couple other things you get. But it's not that expensive. So, but we can, we can make something fun like this. But if we paid for it, we could, make a custom color rule. So the closer the due date is, the redder or the darker the item is, right? Which is super cool. Super, super cool. That makes it even more effective. So, now it looks great. Now it looks awesome. We love it. We can move things around. We can move stuff around. Great. Makes a whole bunch of sense, right? And as the administrator, I can track everything that's going on here wonderfully. And then we go over to projects, and we can go into each of these and see how close each of them are to being done. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Right? And maybe, I wonder, can we also link to another record, tasks, and maybe task to dos. Create field, it's still the task, but in this case we want the status. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I wonder. What is your approach to develop no-code, low-code solutions for your clients? Do you first take some requirements to solicitation, or you build straight with the client? Do you allow changes in requirements? Great question, Cedric. I usually, so I do some stuff for clients, and I build some things. Usually, I first like hop on a call and make sure that I can actually like build the thing that they're talking about, right? And if I can, then we walk through every single little bit of the requirements and we discuss like what pricing would be on that, and if the price fits and if the requirements fit, and I can build it and they're down to do it. Then we move forward with it. And then yes, I do allow for changes in the requirements. It's pretty flexible. I think things change, things morph. Are you looking forward to using the framework developed by PMI? Actually, I'm not super familiar with the framework developed by PMI. I myself am not a project manager. I'm a builder. So I'm building very rough kind of things here, but I'm sure it would be super easy to implement a framework that the framework specifically the PMI developed into something like this, for sure. You could just, the format of how things are submitted and how things are done, totally. Oh, my eyes are a little bit sleepy. I am a tired boy. Great questions, Cedric. Super, super great questions. We're not going to go into task to-dos or anything like that. Ignore that. So let's go back to tasks. Let's add one more thing, and then I think we're almost done with this version of the project management tool. So now we have Max 1 and Max 2 in their, their to-do lists, right? That's great. That's awesome. That's wonderful. But now let's create a calendar view for each of them. So this is going to be, we're going to rename this Max 1 calendar. Awesome. And choose a date field. Due date. Awesome. So now we chose the due date, right? Looks great. Date ranges and multiple field dates are available in the Pro plan. So that would be really cool. Then you can have like lengths of how long something is due, or like periods which people are working on something. So there's more that you can do once you update, of course. And they hide all the cool stuff, which is sad. Sync your data to Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, Outlook. That's really cool. That's really cool. So I can just directly sync or subscribe it to an external calendar. I can just directly sync it to Google Calendar. That's crazy cool. I really like that. I didn't know you could do that. But I don't need to right now. But boom, now Max 1 calendar, let's make sure to filter it. Add filter where assigned employee is exactly Max Miro. And now it'll only show the to-do dates for all of my items, right? Specifically my items, right? Which is awesome. And then as the administrator, I'm like, you know what? This due date needs to be pushed a little bit further, so we'll push it to June 23rd. Now on my calendar, I see it pushed to June 23rd, right? Excellent. So now I, as the employee, can see all my tasks where they are, and I can see all my tasks and track the progress of them for the administrator or the project manager, right? Excellent. Wonderful. Absolutely love it. That looks great. Actually, let me delete this field as well. And then I would do the same thing so I'm going to duplicate the view. I'm going to call it Max 2 calendar. I'm going to filter it by this, right? So now it's them. Now only they can see their stuff. So great. Awesome. And maybe I'll move this up so it's there, and then boom. So now we have Max 1, Max 2, Max 2, like Max 1, Max 1, Max 2, Max 2, right? Great. Let's rename this a little bit because I want to make sure max2 to do makes sense, and then max1 to do. Excellent. Love it, love it, love it. Looks great. Looks beautiful. So now we have to-do lists, we have calendars, we have an administrator view where they can control everything, the project manager view. And then let's add something a little bit extra. Let's go a little bit further. And this gets a little bit crazy. Airtable, this is a new thing that Airtable released, but we can get even more functionality to this, and this gets really, really cool. So we've created the views, we've done everything we need to, but now, automations. This is something else that we can add. Let's create a custom automation. Also, you can add things like send a Slack message, right? You can create little automations like send a Slack message or create a weekly digest. That's actually really cool. So it emails, send a weekly digest. This is cool. Yeah, you can do a ton of stuff. You can do a ton of stuff with this. So actually, let's create a couple of automations. Let's create automation 1. Fix unassigned, right? Let's choose a trigger when record matches condition. Or no, actually, let's go back. How does it do this? At scheduled time. Got it. Send a weekly digest. I'm actually going to delete automation. Delete this one. Let's go fix unassigned. It's going to add a scheduled time. Change trigger. Yes. So fix unassigned. At a scheduled time. Select scheduled time. At regular intervals. Time span every every 24 hours. At regular intervals, every 24 hours, something will happen, right? Run test. Run test successfully. Great. So now, every 24 hours, at regular intervals, something will happen, right? That is the trigger to the rest of it. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh. At a scheduled time, something will happen. Done. Now, the action. What is the action? I want to send an email. I want to send an email to the administrator, which is, let's say, let's go plus, maxmirho@gmail.com. Awesome. And the subject will be unassigned tasks to assign. Oops. Unassigned tasks to assign. Great. Awesome. And the message will include continue, actual trigger time, expected trigger time, next trigger time. I wonder. Attachments show more options. CCBC from name. Okay, great. I wonder. At scheduled time. Let's see how it does it here. At scheduled time, find records, send an email. Aha. This makes sense. Okay, so let's go back to fix unassigned. Let's not send an email yet. Let's delete this step. Add action, find records. So at a scheduled time, this happens. It's going to find a record in tasks. Find records based on condition. And the condition will be where the status is unassigned. Make sense? I don't know if you can see that. Tasks, find records based on condition, and the condition is where status is unassigned. Sorry, you couldn't see that. I was in the wrong place of the unlucky spot of the computer screen. So it finds all the records, right? finds all the records in the task space that are unassigned, right? Run test. Great. So it finds the records, and then it sends an email to maxmirho@gmail.com. This is going to happen every 24 hours. Again, maxmirho@gmail.com. Subject will be unassigned to assign. And the message will be records. Continue. Continue. Insert records as list. And we're going to add all the name with the status. Render as HTML list. Now, literally every 24 hours, if there are any unassigned items, it will send me a list of them. Right? So I know that as the administrator, I, maxmirho@gmail.com, need to go assign those tasks to different individuals. So that everything is always assigned, everything is always good, everything is always in the right place. Right? Awesome. Beautiful. Wonderful. So great. And then I'm going to turn this on by clicking this little thing. Turn it on. And now we have an automation. Now every 24 hours. We know if anything needs to be shifted. Great. Wonderful for us. Saves us a ton of time as the project manager. We don't have to always go and check. We can just see. Let's create one more custom automation, and then we'll move on to Adalo and how to build something custom from there, right? But so far, I'm really, really happy with how much we've been able to do with Airtable. A beautiful, wonderful system. Let's create another custom automation. Let's just say an individual gets an email when a new task has been assigned to them, right? Great. So when assigned. Trigger, when a record is updated. No. When a record is... Actually, yeah, when a record enters a view. No. When a record is updated. When a record is updated. Table, tasks, view, administrator. Fields. Updates to the selected fields will fire the trigger. When watching all fields created in the future will also be watched. Okay. Let's select fields. It'll be assigned employee. So when an update to the selected field will fire the trigger. So when an update to the assigned employee happens, it'll fire a trigger, right? Which is perfect. It's exactly what we want. So it's watching one field. Perfect. Let's run the test. Done. Now let's action type. Send an email to record assigned employee. Email. So when a certain record is updated, I don't know if this is going to make any sense to you. It's a little bit weird and convoluted. I have experience with some of these integrations, so it makes sense to me. But when a record is updated, right? When a specific record's assigned employee is updated, so a thing is created, and the information is updated in it. Excuse me. Then it will send an email to the person whose email was updated. Right? It'll send it to that email, and it'll say new task. New task, and the task will be the record name of that item, that task. So a task is created with that person. It'll then send them an email that says, you have a new task. I think that's it. I think that's all we really want to do. Complete configuration of all fields, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, we could add something there. I'm not going to add something there. It doesn't really matter. Let's run the test. And then let's test this to see if it works. Done. when a record is updated, send an email, right? Great. Now we have our two little automations that are working. So back, actually, let me turn this on. Excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. I have automations. Let's go back. We have fixed unassigned and when assigned. So let's say we have, let's say we make a few items. So, I don't know, buy chair. Boom. Buy table. Buy lamp. I don't know. Cool things to do. And these are currently unassigned, right? Now, every 24 hours, I will get an email that says, these 3 items are unassigned, right? And then they will be assigned. Then I'll hop in and I'll assign them as the administrator. Awesome. Then I'll map them to project 3. These are all going to be project 3 items. So project 3 is, project 3 is something like buy stuff. Great. And the tasks are buy chair, buy table, buy lamp. Great. I'll go back into tasks. And they're all under buy stuff. Great. Now I'm going to assign one of these items to Max Miro. And now that it was assigned, it should theoretically go and shoot me an email that says, hey, this was assigned to you. Hey, check it out. New task, futz with wiring. I love it. It worked. I think. Right? New task, futz with wiring. Whatever. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Unless it was supposed to... New task, futz with wiring. Oh, interesting. Hold on. Is it giving us the wrong one? I'm going to do it again. Let's see what happens. New task by chair. Okay, cool. No, that worked great. Oh, no, it's giving us the last one. That's very interesting. Maybe it's behind? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So it is working. It's working great. In my email, it's just straight up sending me, emails based on new tasks being assigned to me. Beautiful. Wonderful. Whenever a task is assigned to me, I get an email. Awesome. So cool. That's the basics. I think we've created a pretty robust, awesome, solid project management tool with Airtable in like 50 minutes or like 45 minutes. Great. Before we move on to building something from scratch, completely custom, from the ground up with something like Adala, which is a bit more complicated, and we'll have, only like 40 minutes to do that. So we'll get like halfway through it, and you'll start to understand how Adala works. I think this is more than helpful, though. Do we have any questions? I'm going to give like 30 seconds to let people drop any questions in the chat, and then we'll move on to Adala. No pressure, but I would love to know. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm going to take a fat nap after this. It's going to be great. I shouldn't nap. I probably shouldn't nap. I got no sleep last night, but my sleep schedule is super, super out of the whack, so I should probably stay up. Thank you, PMI. Lakeshore, Ontario chapter. I'm glad you find it interesting. I would love to know if you have any questions on this. And there's a lot more that we can do with this that we didn't do, right? The Gantt chart is especially effective if there's like dependencies and things like that. I haven't messed around too much with Gantt charts, but I've heard they're very interesting in terms of like where is there overlap and managing time between different people and everything like that. A lot of other project management tools have things like that. So it is important. Thank you. I'm super glad you're enjoying it, Cedric. I'm super, super glad. I'm having a ton of fun. So, if we have an Excel with data, can we add to Airtable and then manipulate? Absolutely, you can. Of course you can. Let me see. Actually, there's probably an import. If I go back to Airtable and I add a base, import data, import from Microsoft Excel. Boom. So you can just directly import it. It should be super, super easy. Great question. Super, super good question. Yeah. Cool. Sweetness. Any other questions before we move the heck on and start building some cool stuff, some crazier stuff? I'm glad everybody's enjoying it so far. I'm having a lot of fun. This is cool. I haven't dug into Airtable too deeply, so this is a fun little experiment. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. Of course. Thank you for the question, PMI. Awesome. Awesome possum. All right, cool. Doesn't sound like there's too many questions, if any. So let's move on to Adalo. I'm going to put this in the chat, and we're going to get a little bit into this. Adalo's a bit more complex. It's basically useful for just about anything. I'm actually really, really happy with how far we were able to get in terms of stuff for Airtable. So I'm satisfied. I feel like we've built something awesome, and this is a nice kind of example into how you can use a tool, a pretty flexible tool like Airtable. But we got 40 more minutes. We might as well go build something a little bit crazy. Yes, exactly. PMI. It looks like it's easier to manipulate than Excel where you need to write macros. Exactly. Excel has probably more functionality than Airtable because Excel is a pretty well, equal or more. Like Excel's a pretty crazy tool. It has a whole bunch of stuff going on. But writing macros in Excel is very difficult because it's not very user-friendly. Whereas Airtable created that little automations tab on the right side to just write stuff, right? Make it super easy. I was able to write a couple little automated programs just like that, right? Super smooth. So yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to manipulate the data in something like Airtable, and it was built for that, right? It was built to be really user-friendly. And there's also tons of stuff that you can add on top of it. So there's always like really cool stuff that you can do. You can actually send SMS. Ooh, that's really cool. Pivot tables. Interesting. You could do SMS updates. So you could have somebody get text updates on like new tasks and stuff like that. That's fun. That's very fun. Of course, they could also just have the Airtable app on their phone, and it would update them via the Airtable app. It shouldn't be this big complex thing. Cool. Sweet. Let's move to Adalo. Let's log into Adalo, and we'll start building some cool stuff. I'm going to see if I can delete one of these settings. I'm going to actually delete this one. Yes, I want to delete this. This is a dang test. I'm going to delete this one as well, actually. Sorry, I'm just using my time to... there's another test for Nathan. Yeah, let's delete this as well. Delete test for Nathan. Great, and this is an important one. This is a very important app, so I need that. This is good, but I could probably delete that later. Anyway, let's create a new app. These are all my different apps under here. I have a big fat list of apps that I've been experimenting with, and most of them are just experiments, but the main one that I'm working with right now is a PPC ad. I'm making something really cool, but I built an entire simulation in Adalo to mimic the process of Facebook advertising, so I can try to sell it as a software product to universities. It's really cool. It's really cool stuff. You can build almost whatever you could ever possibly imagine in Adalo. It's awesome. So, let's do this. Let's create a new app. And let's make this a desktop web app, just because I feel that people will be using it on their laptops, right? We can also build a mobile app if we want to. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Oh, man. Head's getting all blank. Directory, coaching, ordering, chat. Start with blank. This will be PMI Project Manager. And we'll leave these colors. I like these colors. These look cute. All right, cool. So now it gives us an app ourselves, right? This is awesome. We have the app name, something like this. App name will be Project Manager, right? Something like that. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. Boom. Looks cute. Sign up. Awesome. And then when we go over to sign up, we have the login form and we have the sign up form. Great. Can you put these developed apps on app stores? Absolutely, you can. Great question, Cedric. If you develop a mobile app, you can actually, with Adalo especially, you have to pay for like the premium plan, which is like $50 a month, which is a little bit. And then you also have to have an approved Apple developer account, right? Or Google Play developer account. But then, yes, you can absolutely publish it to the App Store directly, right? And I can share these with a link, or if they're on mobile, I can share them with a QR code. And they just download onto your phone. I have a couple of apps that I've developed on Adalo just on my phone right now. It's really, really cool. So they're super, super accessible, even if you don't want to put them on the App Store. You can put them under a domain name or something else like that, right? So there's a lot. There's a lot of possibilities. Cool. Oh man, my brain is failing. I'm a little bit sleepy. But yeah, it's super cool. Thank you, Cedric. Thank you. That's a great question. Okay, so database. First, before we do anything, we need a few different databases, right? Just like we had over here. We had the project and the tasks, and then we had the list of employees and the statuses and all that different kind of thing, right? So let's try to remake that in a similar way. Let's say... Gotta go now, but I've subscribed to your channel. I'll catch up with the rest of the show later on. Thanks. Heck yeah, Martin. Thank you. I'm so super glad that you enjoyed yourself. We're going to be finishing up pretty quickly, probably in like 20 minutes or so. So you caught most of it. You caught most of the good stuff. I'm just kind of introducing this new tool. I'll see you later. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Cool. So let's make a collection. Let's make a collection of projects. Projects. Add. We're going to add a file because they're probably going to have a file. You know, relevant materials. Great. We'll have maybe a true or false bit. So complete. Save. We'll maybe have a date. So this is due date, right? Due date. Awesome. And then we'll have a relationship to... Well, we'll just keep projects for now. That's fine. When do you anticipate completing the build of your app that quickly deciphers different functionalities between and CLL? Great question. Great question, Nikazi. So, if you... Actually, I'm going to give you a little thing to subscribe to. No Code Nerd, Substack.com. If you subscribe to this newsletter here, usually every week, sometimes every other week, between numerous CLL platforms. Yeah, I gotcha. Thank you for rewriting that. I guess it didn't show up the first time. But that little No Code Nerd, Substack.com newsletter is where I provide little updates on no-code tools that I make, or no-code, not no-code tools that I make, no-code tools that I find. So it will, I'm actually probably going to rename it beta. Actually. Yeah, because it's going to be tied to the tool beta.co, which is right here. That's going to be the place where it is. And I'm actually currently in the process of building a tool. It kind of works right now for a few different little tools, but it's not that comprehensive, and I can't add that many. And the searching works, but it's not super great. But if you want like a portfolio or a real estate thing, right, you can just kind of go down here. If you want something like a mobile app, I didn't tag anything with mobile app. Maybe events or online course. You can find all different things here. For building stuff, this is fine. This is a bit more for building things directly. But I will be making a website. I'm currently actually building a website on Webflow that just got not only like links to these things, right? Because this is just links to these things, and you check it out. It goes to the you know, a little page that doesn't have anything in it. But I'm currently remaking this website with functionality discussions. So it'll list the tool, it'll list the costs of the tool and the approximate functionalities of those tools. So when you're looking for something new, you can just search some stuff here, and then immediately find the template that you're looking for or the tool that you're looking for, hopefully. Yeah. So it'll be there soon. But if you subscribe to this newsletter, you'll get updates because I'll ping via this newsletter everybody on the email list when the next version of the project is ready. So that's the best place to stay in touch with it. I don't know when. It probably in like a couple of weeks is when I'll be done. Hopefully that answers your question. It's a great question. I'm glad you're interested, Nakazi. I'm super glad you're interested. So let's make a list of projects. Let's make a list of tasks. Add. And the task is also going to have a relationship with users, right? Actually, no, it's going to have a relationship with projects. So a project can have multiple tasks, but a task belongs to one project. That makes sense. Click that. So project, and then, or let's call this associated project. Associated project, that makes sense. Let's add another property, relationship users. So a user can have multiple tasks, but a task belongs to one user. Yes, that makes sense. Or maybe multiple users, multiple tasks. No, let's just say a task belongs to one user. Same as before. Associated user. Just like we were doing with Airtable, right? Awesome. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So now we have name, associated project, this, and then each task is going to have a true or false for completed, right? Completed. Great. And we could do, the whole to do, in progress or done if we really wanted to. But I think we're good for right now. I think let's just do completed, a little check mark box. Cool. Cool. Yes. And then we're going to have, I'm going to whip through this a little bit. This might not make a ton of sense, and I apologize. Tasks will be associated, yes. And then we're also going to have actually, no. Cancel. I'm going to have a user. I'm going to add a property. It's going to be true or false. Are you an administrator? Save. And then here, I'm going to add a field. It's going to be a visible field. It's are you an administrator? Got to check that box. This field is required. This field is not required. So you check it if you're an administrator when you're signing up. Great. That makes sense. Tasks, username, no. Should be fine. Email, password, full name. Are you an administrator? We don't need the full name. We just need email and password. Are you an administrator? Beautiful. Yes. Okay, cool. So now when they're signing up, that happens. Email and password. Great. And now at the home page, we will see. I'm going to add a button. And this button is going to say something like add a new task, right? Add a new task. And this is only going to be visible, change of visibility, sometimes visible, if logged in user, are you an administrator, is true. So only administrators can see when that add a new task button is true. So only administrators can add new tasks, right? But anybody who's not an administrator, just an employee or just a worker, or a consultant or whoever else, won't see that. Great. Awesome. Now, I'm going to make a list. Actually, no, this add a new task button needs to go to a new page. So let's add an action, link to a new screen. And the new screen is going to be a form page, and it's going to be called add task. Great. So add a task, and this form is going to be for tasks. The fields, you're not going to show completed because obviously it's not completed yet. The name, The associated project. No. Associated auto. So it's logged in user. No. No. We don't want that either. Associated user. You want to be able to select a user. Yes. So, assignee. So you're going to assign it to them. Great. You're going to add a visible field associated project. That makes sense. Yes. And you're going to add a visible field completed. No, we don't need to. It doesn't need to be completed. That makes total sense. Great. Looks good. So add a task. And then when you finish with the task, the submit button links to back. Yes. It creates a task and it links to back. Excellent. Excellent. I'm blurring through this a little bit fast just because I want to like make something that functions decently. But here we go. Let's go to forms and fields. No. We want lists. We want a custom list. And this custom list is going to be a list of tasks. And they aren't going to be all tasks. They're going to be logged in users tasks. Right? Yes, only the logged in user needs to see their tasks. So they're going to be only the tasks of the logged in user. Awesome. That makes sense. Now we're going to go to this title. We're going to get rid of this. And we're going to make it the current task name. And then we're going to make this the due date. So it's going to be the current task. Oh, did I not add a due date to the tasks? If we go to tasks, yes. Date. And this will be due date. Perfect. Actually, over here, I need to now add that to this form field. So we're going to go add a visible field, due date. Beautiful. And I'm going to add that a little bit down. Looks good. And then down here, I'm going to add in current task due dates. So now the name of the task and the due date. Awesome. Beautiful, wonderful, epic. I love it. Now that should work on a very, very basic level. Oh, wait, no. I need to add a checkbox. Yes. So simple. Web view, buttons, toggle. Here we go. Actually, I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to move this over there and this over there. And then I'm going to make that there. Actually, I'm going to do this. Boom, and then boom. Maybe I'll make the size a bit bigger. I'll center it. Excellent. There we go. Now that looks good. And now let's go here. What is this toggle? It toggles current task completed. Excellent. Beautiful. Wonderful. Love it. We should also sort this list. Sorting completed false first. So only the uncompleted ones are not shown yet. Right? So let's preview this and see how this works. PMI Project Manager. I'm going to sign up. I'm not an administrator. Well, I guess I am an administrator. Yes, I am an administrator. Yes. maxmiro@gmail.com. Just a quick little password. I am an administrator, so I should see the button. Good. I'm going to add the button. I'm going to add something to the button. Task number 1. The assignee, the only person that's available, is going to be me. So I'm going to assign it to myself so I can see the task, right? And you can create a separate view for, the admin portal so they see all of the tasks, and that would be fine. Associated project, there is no associated project, which is fine. And then the due date will be the 19th. Create the task. Oh, dang it, this field is required. But since I can't assign it to anything, that's the problem. So I need to go back into the database. I need to go to the projects, and I need to create a project. So I'm going to just create a project raw right here. Project number 1. Just ignore this. Completed false. Due date is going to be the 1st. And then relevant materials, this image of me speaking. Save. Done. I'm going to quickly refresh this so we can go back into it. Boom. Project 1. Sorry, I got an email and I was peeking at it. So we can associate it with project 1. Now let's create the task and see what happens. Goes back to the main page, and boom, task 1 is here. And we can check it if we want to, or we can uncheck it, right? Super simple. This didn't look very nice, so I'm going to add a border. And that should make it look a little bit nicer. Interesting. The border will be... Aha, now I know why. Because the border is not dark enough. There we go. That looks a bit more intense. Now what about that? Interesting. Something's blocking it. I wonder what's blocking it. Maybe let's try to extend it, see what that looks like. Interesting. So something's in the way. I don't know what it is, but something's in the way. False first. Yeah, it's having a little bit of issues. But in 3 days. Hey, that's really cool. In 3 days. It actually just automatically updates it like that. But this is a little task list. Let's actually try adding another task. So let's add task number 2. Associated user, still me. Project 1. Due date the 3rd. Create task. And boom, it creates another task. That looks great. Let's actually not do that. I wonder, can I create I want it to be like that. Maybe I do. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that looks a lot better. Hey, that's really cool. So it sorts normally. This task is in 3 days. This task is in 17 days. And then when I click task 1, it automatically sorts it to the bottom, right? Because we need to complete the uncompleted tasks that are at the top, right? Wonderful. So, kind of basic. We could add a whole bunch more to this. We could add an infinite. I've seen people rebuild Monday.com in this. And Monday.com is a really famous project management tool. Or it's a really popular one right now, at least. So, I've seen people really build, their own versions of insane stuff in this tool. We could create an admin portal. This is just the individuals portal. There's a whole bunch we could do, right? There's a whole bunch we could do. Oh, excuse me. We could create a separate list over here. So maybe this is just, the normal list, and then we create a separate list over here where this one is visible. This one is only visible. Change visibility. Sometimes visible will be visible with the logged in user. Are you an administrator is false. So if they're not an administrator, they see their own stuff, right? And then this one is not just logged in users. This is all tasks. And what is this list of tasks of? Tasks, cool. Change visibility. This is only visible if the logged in user is an administrator. Awesome. So now, as an administrator, if I update this, I should only see the one on the right. Yes, which is all tasks, right? And I can futz and I can mess with them and I can experiment. And then actually, I wonder, for this one, we could add an action. Add an action linked to new screen form. We can call it edit task. I like this. I like where this is going. Push transition, yes. Current task, yes, exactly. So that pushes us to another screen, which is edit task. And this is a list of tasks, and it updates the current task. Beautiful. So now we can change the name. We can change whether or not it's been completed. We can change the due date. Can we add anything else to it? We can change the associated user. Awesome. And we can change the associated project. Great. So now, anytime we as the project manager, the version that we see over here is, yes, we can check these on and off and we can experiment there and do all that kind of cool stuff. We can also click on one of these And it brings us here where we can edit the task and change the information about it. Whereas an individual that logged in, let's actually go and let's go back to here. Let's log out. Oh, the screen is missing. Let's go back to here. Let's check this. This little logout button wasn't working. So the right icon links to the login screen. Done. Back. Home. Oh, no, I gotta refresh. Back. Log out. All right, cool. So awesome. And now let's go. Let's sign up with a new account. Let's do maxmirho at hotmail.com. I don't really use that anymore. Password. And then I'm not an administrator. I'm going to sign up now. So now I should only see the one on the left. But I don't. Aha! I know why. Because there's no tasks that have been assigned to me. So let's go assign some tasks. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to log out here. Log in over here, maxmirho at gmail.com as the administrator. Right? Log in. And let's make some dang tasks for the new user. So task, associated user, Hotmail, project 1, due date. Awesome. And now me as the individual, the user, should see a task pop up. Oh, no, it logged me in as the other one. So it logged me in again so I could see everything. So let's log out. Log back in, maxmirho at hotmail.com. Password, log in. And now I should see something over on the left. Yes, I see one task. And I can't edit it. I can only check it or uncheck it. Right? I can't edit it. I can't change the task. I can only check it or uncheck it. Wonderful. So now we have a individual portal, a user portal, and we have an administrator portal. And they're very, very simple, right? They don't look fancy. They don't do a whole lot of stuff, but we can customize that. We can change that. We can morph it and experiment with it and do all sorts of crazy stuff with it. So, but we built a very, very simple to-do list app where we as the administrator can assign tasks to different users, and the users, the only thing they can do is complete stuff when it's done and mark it as completed, right? Amazing. Incredible. And if we really wanted to, we could go really crazy and do something like Zapier. I think we could do something along the lines of like a Adalo. Zapier basically lets us create automations. So you saw how we were creating automations in Airtable. Zapier lets you create automations with every single other tool, not just Airtable. So in Adalo, we want Gmail, right? So Adalo goes to Gmail. Let's see if we can make something happen. When in Adalo a new record occurs, yes, when a new record is created, we want it to send an email to the person. Yes, we could do that. So anytime a new item is created, right, we have it email us, which is great. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. So we could do that as well. We could do email notifications and things along that kind of line, right? Wonderful. So cool. Are there any questions? Because I'm pretty much done. We've built a very, very basic one on Adalo, but completely from scratch, from absolute zero, with an administrator portal and an individual portal. And then we built basically a full one on Airtable. That's a little bit less custom, but built for project management, so it functions very, very smoothly, right? So we built 2 project management tools. Very simple ones, but project management tools in like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. Heck yeah. Whole lot of fun. If there's any questions, please let me know. I'm going to hang out for the next 3 minutes, and then we're going to skedoodle. This was a blast. I hope this is useful to you. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see me build other stuff. It's not project management related. I just build other things with low code, no code. But let me also actually drop my LinkedIn. Let me drop my LinkedIn in the chat in case anybody has any questions for me. If you have any questions for me at all, literally any at all, please shoot me an email. I would absolutely love it. Or please shoot me a message on LinkedIn or, whatever works. Yeah. This is great. Thank you for joining. Thank you for asking all your questions. Cedric, Nakazi, PMI, and then Martin, who had to scoot. Thank you all for asking our questions. I super appreciate it. Was very useful? Heck yeah. I'm super glad. I'm super duper glad. Awesome possum. Awesomeness possumness. Cool. Well, if there aren't any other questions, thank you very much. If there aren't any other questions, I will be skedoodling. I deeply appreciate it. I'm going to send the information to PMI, so hopefully it'll be on their website if you need to, watch it over again or anything else like that. We might also write a little article about it. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on everything else. You have a video with Power Apps. I believe you were the one that AppSheet. So AppSheet's really cool. I haven't futzed with AppSheet yet, but it's very similar to some of the other tools that I've used, so I understand how AppSheet functions. AppSheet's great. It's a very simple little tool. I've not used Power Apps. I don't believe I've used Power Apps. So I don't have a video there. And look forward to your app. Heck yeah. Hopefully, maybe I'll make something. Maybe I'll make a really cool project management tool. That might be fun. It'd be interesting to build little project management tools for different niches. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. I wonder. Woo. Rock on. It was great to talk to y'all. I'm going to skedoodle. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for hopping on. Oh, beta app. Yes, absolutely. I'll see you on beta. It should be done pretty soon. Hopefully it'll be useful to you. Rock on. I'll see everybody later.